is going on, guys and girls? I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be doing something a little different than normal. So there's nothing to do with video games. This is to do with last night's WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So that's finally past us now, after not the greatest build-up leading to the Royal Rumble. But anyway, we're going to discuss or recap the event from last night. Okay, so we start things off with a huge reception from the crowd as Daniel Bryan enters the ring for the first match of the night. His opponent being Bray Wyatt of the Wyatt family. Early in the match, Daniel Bryan lands a suicide dive through the ropes onto Luke Harper, angering his brother Eric Rowan. This led to Eric Rowan trying to land a cheap shot on Daniel Bryan, where getting caught by the referee resulted into him, Eric Rowan, and his brother Luke Harper being vanished from ringside. So now things were level 1v1, but Bray Wyatt still seemed confident of getting the job done, and that told throughout this match as he looked very impressive. But as Bray Wyatt slowly took control of this match, the crowd died down a little, as you'd expect, Daniel Bryan being the favourite. So it would take a huge momentum change for the crowd to really get going, and that's exactly what happened until Bray stopped Daniel Bryan in his tracks with an unbelievable vicious clothesline which turned Daniel Bryan inside out. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you try and check it out, because it was unbelievable. But anyway, this match was getting better and better as it went on. Come to the end of the match, once again Daniel Bryan attempts another suicide dive, but this time on Bray Wyatt. But Bray catches Daniel Bryan in midair and delivers his finishing move, Sister Abigail, onto Daniel Bryan, but into the barricade head first. This is awesome chants started to surround the arena. And it definitely was. Bray rolled Daniel Bryan into the ring and one more time landed his finisher onto Daniel Bryan, and he picked up the win. So I was quite surprised that Bray Wyatt won this match. But anyway, it was a great match and I scored an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, we then had Paul Heyman on screen doing a backstage interview. Basically just saying this is the start of a new era where Brock Lesnar will conquer the WWE Universe. So nothing new there. Okay, next we had on the panel, we had Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels in the panel giving their predictions on our next match, which was The Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. They all got a good reception from the crowd, which was nice. But moving on to the match, Big Show enters the ring first, followed by Brock Lesnar, who enters, but wastes no time and lands a cheap shot on the Big Show. He takes advantage of this by grabbing a steel chair and repeatedly hitting Big Show with the steel chair. There's nothing the referee can do right now, as the match hasn't officially started, so everything Brock Lesnar's doing right now is illegal. So Brock Lesnar stands back and the referee checks on the Big Show and he allows the match to continue. The bell has now officially rung. Big Show gets to his feet, and as soon as he does, Brock Lesnar charges at the Big Show, but he runs right into a Big Show knockout punch. But Big Show couldn't capitalise on this, as he was still a little shaken from the beating he got early on. But as soon as they both get to their feet, they both exchange blows in and outside of the ring. Brock then gets out of the way of a second Big Show knockout punch, impressively carrying it into an F5, and he plants the Big Show with his finisher. This resulted into Brock Lesnar winning the match. But still, this is not over. After the match, Brock continues his assault with more chair shots onto the Big Show. He must have landed about 30 chair shots, which was incredible. But Brock Lesnar then shoved the referee out of the way after he tried to intervene and put an end to the assault. So we'll see on Monday Night Raw if the authority decide to take any action on Brock Lesnar. Okay, the crowd actually cheered Brock Lesnar out of the arena after his vicious display on the Big Show, and that was it for that match. Okay, we go backstage now with the Shield, and there's actually been a lot of talk about the Shield breaking up at the Royal Rumble, which personally I'm not ready to see. But there were signs of that in their backstage interview. There was a moment where Roman Reigns said he feels like he had the winning number in the Royal Rumble. So then Dean Ambrose asked Reigns which number he had. Neither of them would let each other know, so that heated things up a little between the both of them. But thanks to the Peacekeeper Seth Rollins saying the only number that matters is the number 3. Believe in the Shield. That got them all back on the same page. And that was it for that segment. Next up we have another interview. This time with the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton. Actually, this interview was quite funny. There was one part where he said Bray Wyatt was the Duck Dynasty reject. So that got a few laughs from the crowd. But in this interview, basically he was just saying that he's better than everyone else. And he's the greatest in this era and the last. Okay, that match was actually next. Randy Orton vs John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight title. The build up to this match wasn't so great, to be honest. And that showed early on by the crowd chanting Daniel Bryan's name. Not many people cared for this match, and the slow paced start to the match did not help at all. 10 minutes in, the crowd were shouting Daniel Bryan chants. This match was back and forth a bit, similar to the Rock vs John Cena match at last year's WrestleMania, but probably a better wrestling match despite the lack of interest from the crowd. There was one moment where the referee was knocked down, and Cena actually got the win on Randy Orton by making him tap to the STF after 3 seconds, which I thought was quite ridiculous. But anyway, the referee didn't see it. Randy Orton then hit Cena over the head with the WWE title while the ref was slowly making his way to his feet. Randy Orton tried to capitalise with the pinfall, but only managed to get a 2.5 count. Both superstars then kicked out of each other's finishes after near falls. Then what I found quite funny was Cena actually landed an RKO onto Randy Orton just before Orton landed an AA on John Cena. But again, both superstars kicked out. The match gradually started coming to life, and just when I thought it was over, the Wyatt's music played. When Cena, I think, may have had this match won, he had Orton in the STF in the middle of the ring. But anyway, the lights went out as the music hit, and came back on with the Wyatts surrounding Cena on the apron. Cena went after the Wyatts and lost focus on Randy Orton. As Cena turned around, he got RKO'd by Randy Orton, and he picked up the win, retaining his WWE World Heavyweight title. This followed with an assault on John Cena by the Wyatt family, as Randy Orton escaped. Actually, there's something I did miss out on in the pre-show before the Royal Rumble. I never actually watched the pre-shows, but luckily they made an appearance on the main show, and that was the New Age Outlaws, who gained the World Tag Team titles from the Rhodes Brothers. So maybe I'll go back and take a look at that match. And we all already knew who was starting things off thanks to Kane. CM Punk was in at number 1. Joining him at number 2 was Seth Rollins from The Shield. So already not a great start for The Shield. But statistics do tell that 2 people have won from this position. Anyway, at number 3, we have Damien Sandow, followed by Cody Rhodes at number 4. Early on, CM Punk eliminates Damien Sandow. At number 5, we're able to see this new rivalry continue with CM Punk as Kane entered the ring. This did not last long though, because Punk, with one of his signature kicks to Kane's head, got him eliminated. But that was not the last we saw of Kane, and I'll get to that later on. Up next was a wrestler called Alexander Rusev, if that's how you pronounce his name. He's actually from NXT, and I don't watch NXT, so I'm not really familiar with this guy. But anyway, he looked quite impressive early on. He was quite a strong wrestler, and quick for his build. But Swagger came in at number 6, and went straight after the NXT rookie. They was exchanging punches which had the crowd shouting. So Rusev, being a Bulgarian, I'm sure he didn't quite enjoy that. But anyway, at number 8, we had Kofi Kingston, followed by Jimmy Uso at number 9. So far, nothing really was happening at the moment in this Royal Rumble. No huge names had entered the ring, except for CM Punk, who started at number 1. But next, at number 10, we had Goldust, who straight away teamed with Cody Rhodes, and together they eliminated Alexander Rusev, who then catches Kofi Kingston outside of the ring. He throws Kingston onto the top of the barricade and walks away. Still, Kofi's feet hadn't touched the floor, so he was still officially into this match. So you know he's going to do something special to make his way back into this match. And that's exactly what he did. Kofi Kingston leaped into the ring from the barricade, which must have been about 10 feet. So if you haven't seen that yet, try and find it on YouTube somewhere, because it was pretty awesome. But anyway, thankfully for Seth Rollins, he is now joined by Dean Ambrose at number 11. Number 12 was to show off Dolph Ziggler, and he got a massive reaction from the crowd. And I was glad to see that, as I wanted him to do well, which would give him a little push in the WWE. Because for him, it's been going a little downhill for him since he lost his World Heavyweight title to Alberto Del Rio. But anyway, we have entrant number 13, R-Truth. And still, so far, not too much has happened in this Royal Rumble match, but there was still plenty of time for something to happen. Ambrose gets a quick double elimination on both R-Truth, who just entered, and Jimmy Uso. But now we actually have a first big surprise of the Rumble, and that was Big Daddy Cool Kevin Nash at number 14. Still disguised an absolute beast, and he eliminated Jack Swagger right away. I think the last time we saw Kevin Nash was against Triple H. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, finally at number 15, we have Roman Reigns. Straight away, he plants Cody Rhodes with an incredible spear, and then impressively catches Kofi Kingston and tosses him to the outside of the ring. And with Reigns, he's actually showed tremendous potential to really do big things in WWE. And you can tell he's getting that big push. So if he could just work on his mic skills, maybe, it'll be the complete package. But anyway, really impressive recently. Anyway, Reigns delivers another massive spear, by this time to Dolph Ziggler. And this spear looks so real. Oh, it looks so painful for Dolph Ziggler. And you could tell there's no way Ziggler was going to survive any longer in this match. And unfortunately, that was the case. He got eliminated by Roman Reigns, and that led to the crowd booing, actually, because they really wanted to see something from Dolph Ziggler in this match. But you know, the WWE really knows how to disappoint its fans. But anyway, we won't go too much into that, because we'll be here all day otherwise. But next we have Kevin Nash, who gets eliminated by Roman Reigns. So that was it for him. And out next we had the Great Khali, who didn't last long, to be honest. He was eliminated by all 3 members of the Shield. After that, we had Goldust eliminate his own brother, Cody Rhodes, but it was a complete accident. Then Goldust gets thrown out by the Shield. So we'll see on Monday Night Raw if anything happens between the 2 of them brothers. But it was definitely a complete accident, but you know how things like that play out in the WWE. Next we have another surprise entrant, the return of Sheamus, who I'm not a big fan of, but it was quite an exciting return because it was unexpected. But yeah, he laid a few of the wrestlers down with the help of CM Punk, who's still in the match at the moment, with all 3 members of the Shield. So we have 5 superstars in the ring at the moment. Soon to be 6 with the appearance of The Miz, who enters the Royal Rumble, followed by Fandango. And The Miz actually had an interview during the Royal Rumble, saying that he wants to get back to main event in WrestleMania, which I'd also like to see, because I was a huge fan when he was in all the main events as WWE Champion, teaming up with Alex Riley. I enjoyed some of The Miz's stuff back then, but now it seems like they're never gonna give Miz that real push anymore. A bit like Kofi Kingston, he'll be in the mid card. But anyway, at number 20 we have the little human bull from El Torito, and he actually calls out CM Punk when he gets into the ring, and CM Punk was just laughing at him and started to toy with him, but he actually ended up getting hit with a Hurricanrana, which is actually quite funny. Then the little bull eliminates Fandango, who was hanging on the apron. At 21, we have one of my favourite wrestlers actually, Antonio Cesaro, giving The Miz, CM Punk and Seth Rollins the biggest Cesaro swing that I've actually ever seen. The crowd actually really enjoyed this moment. He must have swung Seth Rollins about 25 times. It was incredible. But at number 22 we have Luke Harper, and at 23 Jey Uso. Things were starting to get quite a bit stale at the moment, so we were in need of a big name to enter this Royal Rumble. And that's exactly what we got, with JBL entering the ring at number 24. But sadly he got eliminated while handing his coat to Michael Cole, because he was actually still commentating this Royal Rumble match at the time. So he was in his full suit. But after his elimination, the crowd were shouting, "You still got it," when JBL actually did nothing at all in this match. He entered the ring, gave Michael Cole his coat, and he got thrown out by the Shield. So yeah, that was pretty funny. Okay, Eric Rowan joins the Royal Rumble at number 25, joining Luke Harper. Together they eliminate The Miz and Jey Uso. At 26 we have Ryback, who didn't make too much of an impact in this match. At 27 we had Alberto Del Rio. And at number 28 we have the return of the Animal Batista. And for me, they should have kept his return to the WWE on the down low, so it took away the element of surprise, but oh well. Batista right away eliminates Eric Rowan. Half the crowd were actually booing Batista at this stage, which I was quite surprised about. But anyway, Batista then eliminated Ryback after confronting each other head to head. He then tosses Alberto Del Rio over the ropes, so already taking out 3 superstars during this Royal Rumble. At 29, we have Big E Langston, who brings it to Batista, Sheamus and everyone around him. He looked quite impressive entering the Royal Rumble. And finally, at number 30, and what a letdown it actually was, we have Rey Mysterio. Obviously, you could tell the crowd were disappointed by this. Rey Mysterio got the worst reception I've ever seen him get. The arena was just flowing with boos and Daniel Bryan chants. But yeah, it was a terrible surprise. I was really disappointed in myself. So back to the Royal Rumble. We have Big E Langston knocked out the ring by Sheamus, followed by Mysterio being eliminated by Seth Rollins, who's still in from number 2 spot. The crowd actually cheered Mysterio's dismissal, as I did. Roman Reigns then gives Luke Harper his signature Superman punch, which eliminated him. And this is where I couldn't watch. Dean Ambrose tried throwing Roman Reigns over the top rope while he had his back turned. Seth stopped him and was asking him, "What are you doing?" Cesaro tries taking advantage of this by trying to eliminate Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, but fails, and Roman Reigns ends up eliminating all 3 of them, including Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Yes, you heard me correctly. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. So he's eliminated his both partners. Reigns was absolutely furious at the both of them, and he couldn't believe what Dean Ambrose tried to do. Anyway, I'm hoping this is not the end of the Shield, because they're probably my favourite thing going in the WWE right now. So we're down to our final 4. CM Punk, Batista, Sheamus, and of course Roman Reigns. And out of nowhere, Kane returns and eliminates CM Punk and continues to beat him outside the ring by chokeslamming him through the Spanish announce table. Okay, so we now have 3 men left in the Royal Rumble, and I was just hoping anyone but Sheamus. And the crowd was showing how they felt by booing and shouting no every time Batista and Sheamus took the upper hand. And what was funny about this, that when Sheamus was going for his finishing bro kick, and he does that thing where he beats his chest just before he executes the kick. And every time he would beat his chest, the crowd would shout no to every beat of his chest. So that was quite hilarious. But anyway, Roman Reigns takes the record by eliminating Sheamus and giving himself 12 eliminations in a single Royal Rumble. So that was very impressive. And so we're down to the last two. Tune in next time to find out. No, I'm just kidding. But every hit Roman Reigns landed, he'd get a cheer from the crowd, and the complete opposite for Batista. Batista then hits a horrible spear on Reigns, which looked awful. But he soon gets up and delivers one of his own, showing Batista how it's done. Reigns goes for the elimination, but Batista reverses it, and yes, just as we all thought, Batista wins the Royal Rumble 2014. And the crowd immediately started to boo and continued to show how they felt. So we shouldn't be too surprised, because most people predicted Batista was going to win this Royal Rumble. So now he goes on to headline WrestleMania. Against who, I don't know. But yeah, overall, I give this pay-per-view a 6.8 out of 10. The show started off really well with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt, but gradually went downhill from there. Not saying every match was bad, but it just didn't live up to the first match. So yeah, that was it for this pay-per-view. And yeah, so thank you guys for listening to me ramble on. I tried keeping it as short as possible, so let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and show this video some love. If you want to see more videos like this, just let me know, guys. Thanks for listening.